Okay, it's 9:01 and we're going to start our meeting. First order of business is to our invocation and pledge of allegiance. Please stand, and men, please remove your hats. Can everyone hear me? Okay. Our Father in heaven, we give you all praise and thanksgiving. We come together today in the hope of betterment of our holiday park community. We ask for your blessings on all of our residents and those visiting our park. We thank you for all those present at our meeting and for all those, well, we're not going to be doing live streaming today, but we will have the streaming uploaded later. We thank you for our trustees, our district manager, and all park staff, and ask you to bless them for the work that they do here in the park. We ask that the Holy Spirit guide our discussions and interactions this day as we all try to do what is best for our residents. We ask for your help and guidance so that all present are patient, understanding, and respectful to one another as we remember that we are a community of neighbors and friends. We also pray for all of our family and friends who are traveling back north these next few weeks, and for all those who have, and for all to have a healthy, safe, and love-filled summer, and that we all are able to be with each other again in the fall. We ask all this in the name of your beloved Son, Jesus, our Lord and Savior. Amen. Pledge allegiance, flag, Republic. Next, we have our roll call.
Chairperson,
Present.
Vice Chair Bob Bachman,
Excused.
Treasurer Secretary Deb Burns,
Excused.
Treasurer Don Lemaster, Assistant Secretary Jackie Mitchell, so I'm here. Second Vice Chair Rick Haggard,
Present.
Trustee Joni Anderson,
Present.
Trustee Tim Celo,
Present.
Trustee George Clinch,
Present.
District Manager Carmela Coons,
Here.
Sergeant at Arms Rick Weber.
Thank you, Jackie. Next, we have our report from our district manager.
Going to be very short. Good morning, everybody. We're having some computer issues, as you know, and I want to thank the Communications Committee for assisting me. We were here very late last night, and they did a great job with keeping me sane. Our front sign, as you know, was knocked down. It was a medical emergency by one of the residents. We have the insurance information. I've been in contact with the police and the insurance company. So the signage that we were going to paint out front, we might put that on hold to see what's going to happen for a bit. I want to just work with the insurance company and then go from there, and I'll bring it back to you when I know something further. And that's about it. Have a good day.
Thank you, Carmela. Next is our chairperson's report. I just want to welcome everyone. And again, to all those who are streaming, you won't be streaming until this is uploaded later. So it's not live streaming today, but they are recording it, so it will be up on the internet after the meeting, or after the firewall issues are fixed. Please keep all resident comments to 3 minutes or less, and please refrain from any side comments or discussions. I just have a couple items today. A reminder that we hold our public hearing for the 25-26 budget review, the 2026 annual assessment resolution, and the 2025-26 budget resolution at 6 p.m. on May 8th, followed by the regular May board meeting. The board is reviewing these documents for the first time at today's meeting. Bob Bachman and Debbie Burns are excused for today's meeting, and Jackie Mitchell is taking our minutes for today. Thank you, Jackie. That's all I had. Next, we have trustee reports. Joni, anything?
We're still continuing to work on getting the swales cleaned out before the rainy season here, so that's our main focus.
Thank you, Joni. Rick?
Summit will be starting, but I don't have an actual date yet.
Okay, and this is the phase 2 work that they're
Phase
doing.
two work.
Well, when I say phase 2, I'm not saying necessarily just phase 2, but happens to be phase 2
it is
this time. But it's actually the second work contract that we have with Summit. Jackie, do you have anything?
Other than the special issues that Carmel has been faced with this week, and it's been rather hectic for her, and she's handled it quite well, trying to get everything up and running and in order. That's about all I have, really.
Thank you, Jackie. George?
I've been working vigorously with the office and everyone else to take care of the compounds. I believe there has been great progress in doing that. All the kayak racks have been repaired. And again, I thank the 4 gentlemen, Mike Basone, Gary Van Slenbrook, Walt Cutney, and Randy Williams for repairing them. There's only one item that I'd like to remind people. The wheels on their trailers must be chalked both front and back, and the hitch wheel also chalked. If we have high winds, these trailers can be blown around and damage other RVs. And that's what we're trying to avoid. I had every intention in making the last meeting, May 8th, but I am unable to do that because there is some family issues that came up north, and we have to leave earlier in May. So I will not be able to attend the May 8th meeting. I'm sorry for this situation, but I believe family is more important than the meeting here. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Tim?
Yeah, I just got a few things I left out from the 410 regular meeting on my ACC committee report was, I said we issued 13 permits off our list, and I actually had it broken down, but then I just didn't read it. So here you go. We issued 4 for painting, 1 for an antenna, 2 for skirting, 2 for screening, 2 for roof repairs, and 1 for a window, and 1 for an umbrella dryer. And I'm hoping to, everything's slowed down really quickly. And I'm hoping that we can cancel some meetings this summer as we're working off this list. That's about all I got.
Thank you, Tim. Okay, Don? Thank you, Don. All right, next on our list is our resident comments. Does anyone have any comments today? Being none, we're going to move on to old business. We have no old business, so we're moving on to new business. First item up here is our proposed budget for the 2025-26 fiscal year. First, I want to say thank you to Don and the Finance Committee for this budget. I know they've worked hard on it. I can see that they've added some more granularity in areas that needed it, and they've done a great job at reducing some areas and increasing other areas. So that's the first thing I want to say. Next, just for the board, you've had time to review this now, so what I'd like to do is just take it a page at a time and open it up for questions on as we walk through it each page. So for page 1, any questions or comments?
Yes, Sean, the reason we had to raise the interest fees up above the first one, the red number to 35, because we are charging more fees now, so they're collecting more in interest. Also, you move down to other interest banks. This is our CD interest we had to add in this year because we're earning a little over $10,000 a year in interest on that.
All right. Thank you. I just also want to point out that under insurance, the insurance rates have gone up due to increase with our carriers. We estimated that, or the Finance Committee estimated it at 14% for our group and health insurance and 15% for our property. So that's reflected in what we'll be talking about today under new business 4 and 5. Any other comments on this page? Okay, moving on to page 2. Any questions?
Yes, I have a comment here. Under the marketing, it was brought up in the finance committee that maybe we could have some brochures or something made up to give out to guests and potential buyers. Rick Hope is also doing something like this. I would like to let him use some of our money to maybe make up some brochures. This was brought up in the finance committee. To further educate and showcase our park.
That's well, that's what it's for. When that time comes,
Okay.
we'll speak to it so
Okay.
we know the amount and what he's using it for. But
Right.
yes, that's what it's for.
I just wanted to bring that up, that it was brought up in the finance.
Yep. Great. I had a question about 830402, 3 and 4, where we have the shuffleboard, tennis, and pickleball.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2,000 in each of those areas, but I know we're resurfacing this summer, or in May. So what is that for?
That is for repairs, windscreens, whatever they need.
Okay, so it's
That's
just
not the resurfacing came out of the project
Right.
account.
okay. So this is just in case we need
Maintenance
anything.
for the two,
All right,
for the three.
it's a contingency. Okay.
Yes.
Also, I noticed that under Fun and Fountain, that went down, which is good. But we went up in tools, purchase, and patio furniture. Now, I know there's expectation that we're going
Well,
to, some planning here. Is this forward planning?
yes, also,
Okay.
we went over last year. We were over already for this year's budget.
Okay.
Right. We do more stuff in-house now. The tools, we do more things in-house, so we need better equipment to be equipped so we can do it and save money. So it's really a wash.
Thank you, Carmela.
Also, Sean, when you get down to 8403 trees, this is either purchase trees or remove trees here in the park.
Yes.
The purchase out, now it's just trees. We're using it for that.
Good, good, because yes, we have been
We have
using this
more-
money
Yes.
for the removal of trees. Okay. Anything else on page 2? We're moving to page 3. The only question I had was I see that we reduced our attorney fees at the bottom there,
Yes.
and I was wondering what we've spent so far, and Vicky was gracious and told us that we've spent, for the fiscal year 2024, we spent $3,600.
That's for 5 months, Sean. We've
Yep.
not spent anything here in the month of April, halfway through. So that is good that we decided to
Yeah.
reduce it.
So it doesn't mean that in the future, if we have something come up, we're going to need our attorney more. But so far
Well,
this year,
yeah.
it's been good for us. Anything else on that page from anyone? All right. Next item is page 4.
On page 4, you'll know the reserve account went down, but that's just in number. What we do is in September, the bookkeeper, Vicky, will see what we have left from this budget. And in December, it will get put into our reserve accounts after we've started getting new money in.
Okay. Also, this isn't the total in those accounts. I mean, this is what
No.
we're budgeting in those
Yeah,
accounts.
that's
so,
just a budgeting.
yes. So everyone needs to remember that, because if you look at this, you say, "Well, wait a second. Why
No.
isn't that growing?"
That's just
well,
our-
it is. The actual account is growing, but we don't show that account, the full account, on this
Not on
budget.
the-
This is
no.
just what we're moving into that account from our budget for next year.
Don, what's the 8950 SF roads?
I didn't hear what you said.
The 8950 SF road repairs?
All right, that's for our road fund.
Okay.
That is the amount that goes into the road fund every year.
I thought it was more than that. That's why I asked.
That's what's budgeted, correct, Don?
Yes.
The reserve, the road account
That's
has,
to go into the reserve for the roads.
okay,
yes.
so there is more there is
Yes,
money.
this is just what's budgeted
That's right,
for the
okay.
fiscal year.
Now I get it. Thank you.
All right. So we've gone through the budget. I think it's appropriate. We haven't made any changes to this, that we post this now. So everyone has a chance to look at it
I
on our
agree.
bulletin boards and up
Yes.
on our, and up on our website. And so everyone has a chance to review it before our public meeting on May 8th. Okay, next we have, let me get my agenda. We have our resolution 2025-1, which is our 2026 annual assessment. Again, what we're going to do with this is pretty much most of the wording in this remains the same from year to year. What really changes is the dates. So what we're going to do is go through it again, page by page. I do want to note on, well, when we get to page 2, I have a note here. Let's look at page 1. Any questions on page 1 or concerns? Standard language from year to year. Being none, let's move to page 2. If you look at page 2 under section 2, we have our assessment imposition. And you'll notice the assessment rate has remained the same. It's still at $195 per month per parcel. We haven't changed that for this year. And that's, other than the dates again, the rest of it is standard language. Any questions from the board? Okay, let's move on to page 3. Any questions from the board? All right. Again, this will be posted for our public meeting, public hearing. Okay, we're going to move on to NB3, our resolution 2025-02, which is our 2025-2026 budget resolution. The first item on this is on page 1, you'll notice that it says September 30th, 2025. That has been updated by Vicky already to 2026. So that was the only issue I saw on the document or anyone. And actually, I want to thank George for reporting that because he reported it to Vicky. Any questions on this page?
No question, but down at the bottom, that last paragraph, resolved is misspelled.
Ah, there's another one. Yes, thank you. I'll make sure that Vicky gets that. Anything else on page 1? I think we'll add the page numbers on this too. If they're not on it.
Yeah.
Page 2. Anything on page 2? Again, on page 2, you'll notice section 2 appropriations. Those are the numbers that may change from year to year, and those reflect what we have in our budget for this year or for the next fiscal year. There's no questions or comments on page 2. Move to page 3. Anything on page 3? Okay, so we'll upload this and also put it on our bulletin boards with corrections. Okay, next we have our NB4 and NB5. We're sort of working on the same sheet for these, but NB4 is our Aegis property insurance renewal, and NB5 is our employee health care insurance renewal. You'll have that in front of you. You'll see that the amounts budgeted for 2025, 2026 are shown before you. Aegis is the top number there, budgeted $82,500, and it's broken up below that, just like it is in our budget, our property, our liability, and our truck insurance. And that's about a 15% increase. And what we're doing with this, well, let's go through the health first. The health care is the same. This is our Florida Blue Cross Blue Shield renewal. And at the very bottom, it shows that our budgeted is $74,000, which is a 14% increase. These increases are a guesstimate by our finance committee and with Carmela's input based on what she could get from the companies themselves. We don't know. We've added some things for our property this year. We don't know what that increase is going to be yet. And as you know, the property insurance, because of the hurricanes, they may increase it a percentage anyway. So we don't know exactly what that is, but we think we're covered by the amount that we have have budgeted. So when we come back in May, on our May 8th meeting, our regular meeting, what I'm going to ask the board to do is approve Carmela to approve our property budget, our property insurance, because it will come in, both our property and our health care will come in August, and it will need to be approved prior to our October regular meeting, because our October regular meeting is already in the next fiscal year. So what we're going to ask is that she has the authority to approve those while the board is still on summer vacation. And I believe either Don or someone has to sign also. So we'll have a board member will be looking at it also to assign. And Carmela will send it to all the trustees so that we all have a chance to look at it. So I think we're covered, but I want to make sure that we don't, that we give her the authority to move these forward when the renewal contracts come in. Any questions? Okay, being none, we'll move on to our Xfinity proposal. I guess I want to give sort of an overview about what this is. This is a proposal that we've had Xfinity in our park in the past. We had a contract with them in 2020 for 7 years, and then again in 2027 through 2020 or 2014. So it's 2000. I show it started in 2000, not 2020. 2000 for 7 years to 2007, and then again from 2007 to 2014, and then it was stopped. That contract covered the whole park, and it was for Xfinity into each of the units that are each of our homes. That's not what we're doing here. This is not to renew something like that. What this is pretty much marketing exclusivity for marketing for Xfinity within our park for the next 10 years if we were to sign this. What that means is that they're going to give us brochures and things to our park, and whenever anyone buys a new home, or we would give out those brochures, we would have them out in our lobby, and people would be able to pick them up if they wanted to investigate Xfinity services for internet and TV and phone. It does not affect our Xfinity business contract that we currently have in the office, and it does not affect anyone in the park using their providers they currently have. So whatever provider you're using now for Xfinity, or I mean for your internet service or your phone or your TV, you can continue doing that. It doesn't affect that at all. I want to make that clear. This is not like the hot wire that we were talking about a month ago or two. This is something completely different than that. What else? Basically, the agreement also states that Xfinity may pay the park up to just under $130,000 for this right of exclusive marketing to our park. However, the contract language is a bit muddy, and so we asked our attorney, Carmela and I thought it would be good to send this to our attorney to review the contract. I wasn't expecting anything back from our attorney before this workshop, but they did go through it. I sent them the note last Thursday, and they replied yesterday with some preliminary thoughts on the contract so that we would have it for our meeting today. This has been sent to all of our trustees, so you've had a chance to review that. So with that said, you have some background and why we're looking at this. We're looking at this because Xfinity came to Carmela and asked for this and presented this proposal. So with that, I will go over the contract on the first page. You'll see that if we were to go with this, and by the way, when I was in one of the meetings with Carmela and Vicky, talking with Todd, who is a representative from Xfinity, and he showed us what the first 2 pages of this contract or agreement. We did not go through the next 9 pages, which is all the legalese for it. So that's why it was sent to our attorney, because that part we needed someone else to look at. But what they're offering is a minimum service of for 3 of our residential common areas. They would have an HD digital converter that would allow for TV access, and they would also have fast internet service for 2 outlets, 2 locations. So possibly we already have it here for our office, but might be outside for residents in our pool area, and also over in the pool area or over in the base 2 building in that area. I'm offering that. What else? So that's pretty much what's on page 1.
John,
Yes.
I have a question down here at the very bottom. Prohibits any bulk agreement with other providers. Does that mean that we wouldn't be able to get like we were talking a month ago, the hot wire in here?
Correct. This is basically Xfinity's way of keeping us as a park it doesn't restrict any residents, individual residents, but it does restrict the park as a whole of going towards any other carrier for the whole park. Okay, like hot wire.
Yeah.
So that's something to think about.
Yes, it is.
Okay. The other thing that we talked about with the hot wire, though, was that would we really want to do that to our residents? We have a lot of concern of something like that if we're going to increase our assessments because of it. And this right here would not affect our assessments at all. However, there is some things I want to open it up. I don't want to take up. Let's open it up to your questions or concerns first. You've got the paperwork from our attorney. They give a quite good write-up as a preliminary. They said there more work would need to be done going forward, but this is something that we have in order to think about this for this evening in preparation for if we wanted to take this forward at all at our May meeting.
Mr. Chairman, can I voice my opinion on this?
Yes.
I was involved in the hot wire thing, and I thought that was a very good thing for this park. However, it would not be good for us because it would raise our assessments. But hot wire, there's people in this park, including myself, that are paying nearly $200 a month for TV and internet. And I believe, I personally believe, that Xfinity is like a monopoly. And I know there are people in here that I've been hearing, I don't know this, but I've been hearing that are people that are paying a lot more than I am, even. However, there's comments that people are getting a lot better deal with Xfinity. And if you try to go on the phone with Xfinity and try to solve this, first of all, you're on the phone probably all day.
Okay, but we're talking about apples and oranges here. We're not talking about residents. We're talking about, I understand you're talking about the exclusivity piece of it.
Yep.
And
I'm totally in disagreement with this because it knocks out any other opportunity. And that's why they're doing this, because they want to knock out. They know that companies like Hotwire are in here trying to get the business because they have got business from the other parks near us, like Welland Park for one biggie and several other ones. So I personally am in disagreement with this. I won't be here on May 8th to vote on this, but I am in disagreement with it.
okay, thank you.
Sean, how come it's the 10-year? Why would they have stipulated the 10-year? Because with the technology changes that are happening and more companies coming in, 10 years is a long time in technology to prohibit other companies, especially where we're located in Florida with the new satellite component. 10 years just seems like a long time on technology.
I agree. Any other comments?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'm a little concerned about the compensation part of it. If we should end it early, we're going to be paying them.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're getting set up here and we're walking into a trap.
I think for sure that we should not sign a contract or agreement with the language the way it is.
No.
Just to share with our community here some of the input from our attorney on this. And I'm going to read this directly from the response. This came from Amy, who is one of the Amy Farrington, who is on the team of Andy Cohen in our team of attorneys. It says, below are my initial thoughts regarding this agreement. Generally, the agreement is to provide basic services in the halls and office, which is TV and internet, and exclusive marketing opportunities, which will result in a compensation to the park. At no time does the park own any of the distribution system installed by the company. Only the inside wiring is owned by the applicable unit owner and assumably by the park for the common area spaces. There is no scope of work attached to indicate that the company will be installing, upgrading, or rewiring any portion of the system. So there's no promise in this contract or agreement that they're going to come in here and change anything. So even for our residents or even for our common areas, that they're going to actually change any of the wiring. It doesn't promise that they would do that. It says the agreement is probably their standard language that would need to be amended to fit HP's needs prior to signing. I won't address all those issues here, but we'll highlight a few areas that stood out that more broadly address the agreement, including some of the issues that I had mentioned to them when I first sent the email. About the term, it says the current draft is a 10-year term with automatic 2-year renewals. As drafted, there is no opportunity for termination outside of default, meaning one party or the other has defaulted on the agreement in some way. If that happened, the defaulting party still has a 60-day period to cure, which means that they have 60 days to fix the problem. If they fix it within that 60 days, and the agreement continues on. If they don't, then the non-defaulting party has to put in writing, and they have another 30-day written notice. So, for instance, if Xfinity defaulted on this in some way, they have up to 90 days before we could actually stop the contract. For marketing, this provides exclusive marketing for TV, internet, and voice, meaning the company would provide the brochures, etc., for Holiday Park to display. The agreement provides a variety of materials that this might consist of digital content, channel lineup, services, descriptions, pricing, and special offers. During this 10-year period, while materials must be provided at the time of rental, sale, or lease to any person or digitally, there is wording around website links that should be reviewed, as it would impact the HP website, which is Holiday Park's website, and even, assumably, the information page where links to service providers are displayed. There is language that the company will not conduct door-to-door solicitations without the consent of Holiday Park. Compensation. This attachment is a little difficult to follow, but Holiday Park will be paid per unit. There is language about under construction units, but my understanding is that Holiday Park is built out. However, what is we have a lot of vacant lots right now, and we have no idea how those vacant lots would affect this agreement. It appears that what is required is a W-9. Upon a default, Holiday Park would be required to refund a pro rata portion of the funds initially paid per unit. As it stands, the compensation is $150 per unit over 10 years, which basically is they're paying us $15 per unit each year for this exclusivity. If there was a default in year 8, Holiday Park would be required to pay $25,950 back to the company. I would suggest that the language be amended to better protect the future interest of Holiday Park and to limit refunds, if any, within a shorter, more manageable period of time. Under legal, it says legal issues are outlined below. With a 10-year agreement, it is important that Holiday Park is protected in amending and terminating the agreement. There is no language regarding how to amend, and the termination language is too restrictive. It prohibits any, this agreement prohibits any bulk agreements with other providers. The language provides a mutual indemnification and does not appear to limit to gross negligence, recklessness, or intentional wrongful misconduct. This should be amended to more closely track language used in other Holiday Park agreements to better protect the park. Language waives liability, but should be amended so limitation of liability language should follow the statutory limited waiver of immunity or limits of liability. There is no language regarding the amendment of this agreement. Disputes must go to arbitration to apply federal law and the laws of the jurisdiction in which the property is located, without regard to its choice of law principles. Language provides that either party can assign the agreement without the consent of the other. This should be amended to allow assignment upon mutual written agreement. This is especially important due to the length of the agreement. I think what that means, correct me if anyone understands it better, but if Xfinity wanted to assign this agreement to some other company, they would be allowed to do that. Because it says they can, there's no language in here that says that they can't.
Or if Xfinity is bought out by somebody else,
Yep.
they can extend the contract without our permission.
Yes. Yep. Under representations and warranties, if the agreement is terminated for breach by either party, it appears, HP is Holiday Park is required to reimburse the company for time and materials up to a point of termination. This language should be stricken. Add general liability insurance as part of the requirements and request Holiday Park as additional name insured. And this is all the things that we would do if we were to go forward. Remove confidentiality clause and replace with the required public records language. Add information regarding E-Verify and affidavit required pursuant to a code, a Florida code. Would also need to review the internet subscriber agreement. So this is something that our attorney's saying they would still need to do if we wanted to move forward, even after, if we were to change this contract. Would also need to review the internet subscriber agreement on Xfinity's website, as agreement references violations of this agreement. So there's a lot in here that would have to change, and some more work would have to be done by our attorney team. So it costs some money there to have them do that work. And we have, right now, I mean, we can ask the question, but I'm assuming that this is standard language for Xfinity, and they're not going to change it for us.
I agree.
So in that case, I think that we do not move this forward for our May meeting. If we want to ask, if Carmela wants to continue and ask some more questions of them, we might bring this back in the fall, but we don't have enough information, and the contract is clearly not something that we would want to sign up into at this point.
I agree.
Everyone agree?
I agree.
That being said, this will not move forward at this point. All right, we have new business 7, possible fine, 6871 Ocean Court. With this, has been brought to us before, and this is what we talked about at our last meeting that was going to come to our workshop here. Oh, this is a different one. Oh, that's right, we approved that one already, and it went to the fine committee. So this is a different one. It's 6871 Ocean Court. The violation is ACC violation number 39. A coach damaged by fire, hurricane, tornado, storm, or flood damage must be repaired and hospitable within 3 months from the date of damage. Roof damage requiring tarp caused by storm or other factors must be repaired within 3 months of damage. The fine is $100 per day, not to exceed $1,000. All the pertinent correspondences have been sent out, and the extra comment here by our district manager is we've sent 3 letters and they were returned to sender, and she cannot find any family, and she's exhausted every avenue of trying to locate somebody that will step up and say that they own this, are responsible for this property. So, well, I heard someone say paying the taxes. I think that right now they're behind on the taxes, and this may go into foreclosure at some point in the future.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question? If we find this up to $1,000, I still don't understand how we're ever going to get the money from that.
What happens is it goes on estoppel, and the estoppel moves with that, the sale of that property, whenever it happens in the future. And at that time, during the sale, we would be paid the money at that point.
So with that understood, if this goes up for auction, a county tax auction, they would have to pay the $1,000.
Yes.
So some of these places are up for near $7,000 for taxes. Now they got to move the property off of there because it's pretty much condemned. I don't understand how anybody would want to buy that, is my understanding.
Well, as soon as it goes into foreclosure, I can't speak to what happens after that. Okay. I know that Sarasota is going to want to get their money somehow, or get at least a portion of it. So, but that's on them. Okay. Sarasota County would then take that forward and work with a bank or whatever and move that forward. But we would still be getting our money. And as it turns out, because of our agreement with Sarasota County and our taxes, the way our assessments are done, we still get paid our tax money every year. Even though they may not be getting the tax money from the owner, we still get our money back from Sarasota County. So we're getting our full assessment for all of our homes here. Any other questions? Okay, we'll be bringing this, if everyone's in agreement, we'll bring this forward to our May regular meeting. Next item is our tree removal. Carmela has been working with the same company that we had remove our trees. She is again quoted us for $275 per tree. Actually a little less because she's doing a little extra work. So for the trees are taken down. They are still $275, but she's also taken out some widow makers that we have hanging. So they're going to be pruning some of our trees for those. So we have 17 total trees being removed and 2 widow makers. And it states here for the board where those places are, and they've been marked. And Carmel's asking us to spend, we still have the money in our budget from last year, for this current year, I should say, taking $4,500 of that and having this done prior to our storm or our hurricane season.
I think this needs to be done, but there are also at least 2 stumps over by phase 2.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think we also had in phase 1, we have 2 stumps. Yeah, we have phase.
At the corners of the building, I know on the left side as you go in, and maybe on the right side as well, but there's 2 on the left side. Yep, I'll go with you.
Yeah, but we're also having her take out the 2 stumps on the other side of the fence of the pool here, those big stumps that are, so they'll be grinding those down too. Yes.
This is off the trees.
Well, can we, let me finish this. Okay, so this is the tree removal. If everyone's in agreement, we'll move this forward to our board meeting, our next regular meeting. All right, now Carmela had something.
Sorry, I forgot to tell you this earlier. We are going to have to close phase 1 pool for about a couple days. They're going to be working next week. They're going to start the bathrooms, and Tanner has to do some work on the pool. He has to shock it and so on. So I'll send a text alert out when it's going to be shut down, but it's going to be shut down for 2 days.
Thank you, Carmela. All right, we're going to move on to NB9, which is our ACC rules and regs change on for number 33. The board has this in front of them. You've had a chance to read it. If you have questions, we can ask them to Tim. However, it's pretty straightforward. What he's asking us to do is remove the number 22, which is at the end of the number 8 there. So we have the regulation number 33, which is storage areas and sheds. Number 8 under that states must be in compliance with ACC rules and regulations 8, 10, and 22. He would like it just to read regulations 8 and 10 and take off the 22. Anyone have questions about this?
Well, I'd like to say that the ACC committee is behind this 100%. It wasn't just my decision to bring this forward. It was also, we had quite a discussion on it during a meeting, so it's not just me. Just want you to be clear on that.
I'm just saying you're bringing it forward to us. Okay. And there's some more, I mean, there's another statement on this page that says, I have surveyed both phase 1 and phase 2, and there are more than 50 unattached sheds that do not have gutters and downspouts. This has not been enforced for many years and should be removed as a requirement for unattached sheds. And most, these sheds are small.
Yes.
And as long as they're hurricane proof, this is on their property if they don't have a downspout. I mean, I think the reason this was added for aesthetics, but most of these sheds are in areas that I don't think that affects it any, the aesthetics of it. But
So,
that's for the board to decide. But anyways, if you're okay with this, we'll move it forward to our regular meeting. All right. Last on here is our Pearson, Cohen, Mooney, Fernandez, and Jackson PA renewal. So this is our attorney group. This just every year at this time, they give us a memo that states how the CPI for the year is adjusting or is affecting their hourly rate. Last year, the increased was to $303, and that was a 3.2% increase. This year, this coming fiscal year, we're going it is a 2.9% or 2.3% increase, and up to $310 per hour. And at the next meeting, what I would like to do is what we would do on this is just notifying our board and our park that this is going to happen if we keep them. But what we will do at the next meeting is we will vote on keeping the same attorney team as our attorneys for the next fiscal year. That's what will come to you. Any questions, concerns? All right.
I have a
Oh.
question. Have we been able to adjust the budget for that reason on the increase for the attorneys? Is there,
yes,
okay,
I mean, we're only, Jackie, we're saying 12,500 for next year, and we've only spent 3,600 this year, and
Yeah.
we were at 25,000. So we're adjusting the budget now.
all right, thanks.
All right. That concludes our new business. We have no supplemental business. That was information only. We already approved that.
Yeah, we are.
So I'm moving on to trustee comments. Opening the floor to the trustees. Comments. I'm not going to go through everyone, just if you have something. let us
Yes,
know.
I have something. I forgot to mention when I was talking, the auditor has confirmed that the auditor will be here for the May 8th meeting for our annual audit.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Any other comments? Being none, we're going to open it up to resident comments.
Merlin Hopkins, excuse me, Merlin Hopkins, 6702 Ikena. My purpose here is to talk a little bit about the Pavilion Committee and what's going on over the summer. And at this point, I've been talking to the city. We need to look at zoning, believe it or not, for this item. And so I'm talking with Cody at the city. And he will be communicating with myself and Carmella about what the requirements will be for us in regard to the pavilion. I think I would reiterate that Carmella should be given some leeway this summer in case we need to spend some money, for example, for a site survey or other things that might be involved with that. By fall, we were hoping that we would have some sort of pictures of what it might look like, things like that. If that's still the case, then we would need to hire an architect to do those renderings, as well as the drawings that would be suitable to the city for the building project. So as to how far that gets, I don't know, but I just wanted you guys to make aware of that I will be working on that this summer so that it's not just going to sit here till fall. Okay?
Yeah. The only concern I have is I don't know that. Well, I don't know what we say as far as when you say spending some money, we don't say what kind of money.
Yeah, I
We're
can't tell
trying
you
to.
how much.
I know this is donated money, but it's
Yes, it is.
still our residents have donated it, and we want to make sure that we're spending it effectively. So
As do I.
I guess the board needs to think about this between now and our May meeting on how we want to. I'll put it on as an agenda
Yeah,
item.
if you would please.
And
'cause I
if
need
you have
direction.
anything you can give us, your thoughts, some of what you might think might come up, so we have something to go on as far
Okay.
as, and maybe some costs or something, even if they're preliminary, you don't know the exact, like for the permit, the survey, those types of
Exactly.
things. If you can give us some of those costs, that would give us an idea of what we're talking about here.
I'll do the best that I can with that. I hopefully can at least find out what a survey would cost. But again, it's really up to the city. I can't do anything until the zoning folks tell me what we're required to do.
Right.
'Cause that will involve the survey. So anyway, I'm just telling you
But
where
the
we're
city
at.
can tell you what a permit's going to cost to do the building or whatever they're doing. I'm sure they're going to charge us something for it.
Absolutely.
So we can find out what that cost was. You could find out possibly what the like you said, the survey is
Okay.
if they're going to do some architectural renderings of it. Which do you think architectural renderings are premature if you don't know exactly the materials you're going to use to build it?
Yes.
Okay. So that won't happen possibly until you come back in the
Right.
fall and have,
Right.
okay, this is the materials we're going to use. This is what's going to, and then you can render what it's going to look
But
like.
I will move it forward as much as I can
Okay.
over the summer, and that's my message to you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you very much, Merlin. Any other comments? Go ahead.
Karen Anderson, 5072 Polina. I didn't hear anyone mention the Sunshine Training that's going to be held on the 29th. And I just wanted to remind all the committees that you're supposed to be attending this and that you need to sign up at the office, and it's a requirement that the committees attend this. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been advertised, but Karen makes a good point here in that if you are a chairperson of a committee, you should make sure your committee members have had this training. They should be there, or they should have a good reason why they can't be there, and then we need to make sure that they get all the training materials so that they can review it.
And sign up.
And they should sign up for it, yes.
I mean, I didn't sign up because I just knew I had to go, and it was assumed I had to go, so I didn't sign up. But
Yes, well, it's assumed that all the trustees will be there, so she knows that there's 9 for that, and then and then
she needs a head count.
yes, but it's assumed. It should be assumed that that for us that you don't have to sign up as a trustee because you have to be there. Same with the office people. Anyone else, and then but if you're on a committee, you should sign up because we don't know how many committee members can make it or not at this point. So we stress that you should be there as a committee member, so that especially because these committees are appointed by the board, you should understand the laws concerning the Sunshine Law. Okay. Any other things?
I have a question for Mr. Hopkins. What are the plans for funding the pavilion?
After Merlin Hopkins, 6702 Hykena, after we get an exact drawing and know how much the project is going to cost, I think that's important for the residents to know before we do a fundraising campaign. At this point, I wouldn't foresee a fundraising campaign until December, maybe January of the next season. But we must know what it's going to entail, how much it's going to cost before we can do a real solid fundraising effort. At that point, we may have another public meeting to explain better to the citizens before we do that. I would intend to go talk to as many groups or people as I can as chair or a representative to see if we can get as much help from individuals in the park as we can. I don't know about the various clubs, the men's club or the ARC group or whatever, that they would be interested in giving us to build this pavilion. But I'll be flat out telling you it's going to be built with public funds, or private funds, excuse me. And even if you're a member of the men's club or whatever, I would hope that you as a family would look at if you could help us, how much you could help us with. And I would also want to make absolutely sure that I'm not asking people in the park who are hurting to donate to this project. I am asking those of us who can give to think about how much the family can give, okay? So did I answer your question? Or do you have more? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Merlin. Okay, any other comments? Being none, I ask for adjournment. We have a motion and support. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. And we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.